bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough, if you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who are tuning into the classroom for the first time, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my passion to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth. And so as the week goes by and the month goes by, I'm always really excited when Dr. Jennifer Gramith comes into the classroom. She has taught us so much that when it comes to our emotions, our body, she's helped us get through a liver gallbladder cleanse. And you can get that at whenyouneedafriend.com if you want to do one with us as well. And she's taught us about Zyto and LED and all this. And I got the privilege this month to not only get to see her today, but we saw her last week because we're getting ready for the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit on January 21st, 2023. Oh my gosh, I almost went back 3 years. And which I don't mind. But anyway, but today, we know that we've been like focusing on, what this summit is going to be like, climbing the summit together, but not in our hands and knees or crawling, but in a way that we can dive in or dig deep into abundance and use our health as abundance as well. Abundance health. We think about abundance as financial, but very seldom do we think about abundance as health. And so today we're going to talk about Dr. Jennifer Gramith of Rightway Health and Wellness, and you can get all the information right here behind me. And so today we're going to be talking about the lymphatic solution. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I'm so grateful that Dr. Jennifer Gramith is back to do just that. Welcome back, Dr. Jen, to the classroom.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always just a blessing to be in the classroom with you, Lillian. So wow. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm so excited, and I hope everybody can get out and participate and be live at the conference. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be seeing you tomorrow for dinner. We're going to have a great time together celebrating a pre-party before we get started, before we get really early at 7 o'clock in the morning to get all the everything ready for all of you to come in and learn and grow with me and Dr. Jen and Dr. Levy and Susan Whitaker and Anna Maria and Brian Clement. All the vendors, everybody that's going to be there has been hand selected so that we can start making a plan so that this year, 2023, is the best year ever. So as we were determining what we're going to be talking about, the concept, which is how I met you, Dr. Jen, was all about the lymphatic system. And you were the first one that really helped me understand the importance of the lymphatic system. But for those that are new to the classroom, what is the lymphatic system about?
So it's interesting because I've been studying the lymphatic system for almost 25 years now. And so that has been my passion, is really trying to understand the lymphatic system, how it works and what it means to me as far as my health and then the lives of my patients. And so I knew very little about the lymphatic system when I was in allopathic medicine. in school, there was about a chapter on the lymphatic system. Every other system of the body, there was a textbook for. And so it's a field that's really unknown. And it's just in the last decade that people have been paying more attention to it. And then the last, 2 to 3 years, it's been a great focus. And so the lymphatic system is a new buzzword. Everybody's typing out, what's my lymphatic system? What does it have to do with my immune system? And so your lymphatic system is your structure. It's the housing of the immune system. And it is just critical to directing your immune system and the response time of your immune system.
Very good. Okay, so when you think about the lymphatic system and the immune system, I've been told that it compares to like the garbage collectors of the body. This is the trash collectors, and that's where it goes. And when we think about the world as it is today, when there's garbage on the street, we see it. But when the garbage collectors come and pick it up, it's as if we don't even think about garbage. So what's the importance? Why is it important that our lymphatic system be optimal?
Right, because of the fact that the role that it plays in the immune system. So there's different roles of your lymphatic system has to play with the immune system. It is what you said. It's your garbage disposal. It's your detox system. And that's what most people know it by. It's my detox system. So if I'm not detoxing, so, just like you said, the lymphatic system is your detoxification system. And most people know it by that. But it's so much more than that. Your lymphatic system also is the system that bathes every cell in the body with the critical nutrients. So you hear more and more people talk about, oh, I have malabsorption. I'm not absorbing, the nutrients from the supplements I'm taking or the food that I'm eating. And part of that reason is because they have such a congested lymphatic system that it doesn't get absorbed at a cellular level. You'll hear a lot of like Dr. Pompa talk about mitochondrial health. Well, those critical nutrients have to get absorbed into the cell. Vitamin C, you've heard Dr. Levy talk about, and how important it is to get it inside the cell for it to be effective. Well, the lymphatic system has everything to do with that. So if your lymphatic fluid is really congested, congealed, the fluid should be like water. It should run very easily through the collectors, carrying your white blood cells. But what happens because of the environmental toxins, the emotional stress, it becomes very thick. So the consistency of the fluid shifts to more of a buttery state, or a cottage cheese, or even sometimes fibrotic. And so you're seeing more and more of that, and that will slow down the immune response time. And what I mean by that is that those white blood cells, those macrophages, those neutrophils, those lymphocytes, they can't get to the injured area or the area that is infected or burdened with the heavy metals and work properly in a timely manner. And so these things start to accumulate in our body and lead to disease, chronic disease, and sometimes even acute disease.
Okay, so you said so many things that I just wanted to just go, stop. I want to go and ask, because, the lymphatic, like you said, it's just recently it's coming and people are learning about it. But we've had it for always. But you talked about how the structure or the consistency of our lymphatic system, or the fluid, can go from fluid like a watery or clear to congested and congealed cottage cheese. Anyway, so how can you test for the status of your lymphatic system? Can you test for it? And how can you make sure that it is flowing properly?
So there's different tests. Thermography is one way to see.
Thermography?
Yeah, thermography is a tool that's really helpful. A BIA with a phase angle tells you the how your lymph fluid is moving from the interstitium, which is outside in the tissue area, into the lymphatic system. So the rate of movement of the lymph is told by a phase angle. And so, yeah, there's many different ways, but I guarantee that the majority of us have a congested lymphatic system. When you have, things like just a postnasal drip, or you have skin issues, I mean, there's a lot of signs and symptoms that point you right to a congested lymphatic system. And you'll see that the root of all disease, chronic disease that develops an autoimmune, is due to a long period of time of congested lymphatic system and a suppression of your immune system. And so to get that immune system activated and working like it's supposed to, you have to decongest the lymph.
Okay. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, how does the fluid move? Because I know that the blood is moved by the heart, but let's talk about the lymphatic system. So this is bringing me back to the first conversation that we ever had together. It's so wonderful to kind of revisit it again and kind of relearn.
Right. So, that's a good question, because the circulatory system has its own pump. It has the heart to pump the blood. And so a lot of people think about the lymphatic system. They used to call it the second circulatory system, but it doesn't have its own pump. Now, it has pumps within the collectors or the vessels that kind of, propel fluid forward, but that only works if you're moving. So the only thing that really stimulates your lymphatic system that you can do is exercise. So that is why there's so many people who have a sedentary lifestyle have such congestion in their lymph. And, and we're seeing it more and more. There was also a study, Lillian, that showed that people who are under stress, like you have a stressful event, let's say you're driving in traffic and someone cuts in front of you and you almost wreck your car, you do wreck your car, within minutes, within less than 10 minutes, your lymphatic fluid goes from that watery consistency to like cottage cheese. That quick. And you physically feel ill. You feel just like, like you're sick, like you're getting the flu or something like that. You physically feel it because it shifts that quickly, and it suppresses if you only have that one event, it's going to suppress your immune system for up to 48 hours.
Wow.
So think about that when you think about, how stressed out people are, and how it's an everyday, they're going into the office and they're struggling with their, workers or their bosses or their spouses or their children. And it's just this chronic stressful event every single day. Their immune system just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And it just makes them really more at risk for contracting certain pathogens and not being able to fight it off. So
wow, I heard that 5 minutes of anger suppresses our immune system 8 hours. But this is something even bigger. That when you've had like something like a trauma, or when you have planning an event like the I Am the Solution Natural
let's check your lymph.
I need for you to bring all your tools tomorrow so that you can decongest me.
We will.
Okay, so when something like this, we need to be mindful that our lymphatic system is now causing suppression in our body. Is that what I heard you say?
Right. So because of the congestion, it's going to overwhelm your immune system and slow the immune system. It's kind of like this. Think about it like your Marines, your Army of Defense going out into battle. And, they're the enemy's on one side, and here comes your white blood cells trying to get to the enemy, the invader, but they have to go through quicksand to get there to fight the battle. That is exactly what's going on in your lymphatic system. That congestion in that fluid slows down the immune response of the necessary white blood cells, your T cells, your B cells, your macrophages, all of that, and it can't get where it needs to be to fight the battle. So that's one of the issues. But then the other issue is when your lymphatic system is congested, because it's carrying all of those critical nutrients that bathes your cells, you're going to be malnourished. You're going to, you may be a healthy weight. Even a overweight person can become malnourished. Because you don't think that they're malnourished, you think they're overnourished, but no, their cells, their organs, their glands are deficient of critical nutrients that is needed in order to function properly. And then you have the dysfunction because they don't have the B12 or the folate or the zinc or the vitamin C, and that will trigger an inflammatory response as well in the body. And so you can see it's just this vicious cycle that can happen. So when you're under stress, and you and I have talked about this so many times about the emotional stress and really learning how to identify it first. You got to know what's stressing you out. You got to allow yourself to feel your body, because so many of us are just so busy. We just run. We get up in the morning, we grab our coffee, and we're out the door, and then we don't slow down until we lay our head down at night, and then we crash. And then people who come home and they crash and they can't sleep, is even more of an issue. So and I'm seeing more and more people really struggling with insomnia. After the age of 50, you stop producing melatonin anyway. And so it's harder for you to sleep. That's why it's a good, thing to supplement with. But can you imagine when you're just under so much stress, creating and churning up all this inflammation in your body? It's going to follow the path of least resistance. So if you were born with maybe a weaker heart because that's inherited, or weaker kidneys or something like that, typically that's the disease that it's going to manifest into. But Lillian, used to, it would be, a person would struggle with maybe one disease. They'd be diagnosed with heart disease or diabetes or cancer. Now it's multiple. Seeing my cancer patients, they also have diabetes, they have heart disease, they have autoimmune disease. I mean, it's just compiled. And so it's time to step back from our approach in allopathic medicine, because that's just not working, and really look at the root cause of disease.
And I keep going back to the image and maybe you can help me understand how this happens so quickly. When you said that within 10 minutes you can go from clear to cottage cheese like thick fluid, how does that happen so fast? How can it happen so fast?
Yeah, so it's a chemical response in the body that happens.
And it causes it?
And it causes it just like that. So it's a chemical response in the body. It's a spiked cortisol level. And so
it's used, is that because it's trying to protect the body?
Yeah, it's trying to protect you. And so, there's normal immune response. It's not like you don't want to you don't shy away from inflammation. Inflammation is a normal immune response in an acute situation, but that's not a problem, So if you get stung by a bee, you have an inflammatory process that happens to clear that out. You get fever, it swells up, that brings in the in the white blood cells and the macrophages, and it cleans it up, and it's done, and it's healed. That's how the body heals itself. So when this happens, the body is trying its best to heal itself. But we keep, adding insult to injury, knocking our immune system response down by eating foods that trigger inflammation, by, not dealing with our stress and just constantly having this cortisol spike. And so it just continues to grow and accumulate in the body. But your immune system is constantly trying to, remedy that and bring your body back into a state of homeostasis. But, with the lifestyles that if we do not change the way that we think in our lifestyle, because you're not going to change your lifestyle if you don't change the way that you think about it. And then, we're destined for disease. And it's not something that we're a victim of, because we know these things.
Yeah, we do. And so, we're constantly kind of shaming our body for doing what it needs to do. Like we'll say, I have an autoimmune condition. My body's attacking me. My body, but basically the body is trying to protect us against whatever pathogen is stuck in your organs. And so it's trying to get rid of it. And so we accuse the body of turning against us. And so when I'm hearing you talk about how the lymphatics can go from clear to sludgy, and that's also to protect us. But it goes back, right? It goes back.
It should go back. Yeah, most definitely. And there's things that you can do to help assist
Okay,
it.
so that's going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So the things that you can do to help assist it is, daily meditation, exercise, dry brushing. Those are all rebounding. Those are all things that really help to get the lymph moving again. Not coming home and laying on your couch for, 4 hours watching TV once you get off work, things like that. Eating an anti-inflammatory diet, making sure that you're not putting things in the body that's creating that inflammation. And like you said, with the autoimmune, and this is because we've known so little about what the lymphatic system does, how the immune system is truly trying to respond. In the allopathic world, we tell our patients that, oh, you have autoimmune, your immune system hates you, it's attacking you, it's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Right.
What your immune system's trying to do is get rid of that mercury or that metal that's in your thyroid, or it is trying its best to alleviate the burdens on the immune system, the burdens on the organ gland or system, and trying to get you healthy again. But we are our greatest enemy many times because of the lifestyle and the habits that we have. And so we really have to, know that and take responsibility, because when we take responsibility, it gives us back control, and we're the only ones that really can shift that.
And again, responsibility is not blame, shame, fault, or duty. That's how we think of responsibility. The word responsibility has been given a bum rap. And so we really need to look at responsibility as ownership, empowerment, and freedom. Because once you own your life, and once you say, okay, I created this, this is something I did, not intentionally. Maybe we didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know any better. But once you know better, you do better. And so you do whatever you can to change the life, to restore your life. And isn't the body so forgiving? How quickly can the body bounce back once we start paying attention to these tiny little things that are huge?
Yeah, it can bounce back very quickly, and it will bounce back if given the right environment and the right, you use the right tools and solutions to the issue that you're dealing with. So many times that, in medicine, well, all the time in medicine and mainstream allopathic medicine, all we're doing is really treating the symptoms. And you've heard me say this, before. You have pain, we give you a pain reliever. Even with our children, I mean, even as parents, we're doing the same things that our doctors are doing. Because if our child, gets a fever, it's 100 or 99, we start shoving Tylenol down them. That's the worst thing that you can do for their immune system, because you're not fixing the problem. You're just treating that symptom, and the problem is the infection. And your fever in your body is your natural immune response to killing the infection.
Correct.
When you squash the fever, the infection just kind of goes deeper, and so they typically can have more and more reoccurrence. This if you have kids and grandkids, that their parents take them to the doctor for every little sniffle, and they are the sickest kids because they're always on some type of medication that's
Yeah.
interfering with their natural immune response. Now, I'm not saying let your children, run a fever of 105. There is a time when you need to slow that down because you don't want the brain to overheat and things like that. But majority of the people will get involved and really mess up the immune response time, and it just builds to them having more and more risk of autoimmune and chronic disease as they get older, and childhood illness is skyrocketing. You're seeing more and more, I hear more and more patients that are children, developing leukemias and things like that. It should not be, but it is a real problem these days. And then a lot of the neurological disease patterns in younger and younger adults and in children. Autism is skyrocketing, but there's a lot of other neurological issues too.
Yeah, there is. And it's sad because, we as adults, we can handle things for ourselves, but when it's a child and it comes from, the way we've lived our life, the way we feed our children, the way that, we see, I remember when my kids were little, they could only have one activity each, because there were 4 of them. And so
Right.
one of them had activities, and so we would just make sure, but some of these kids have 5 or 6 activities that each one of them do, and so they're constantly. I remember there was a book called The Hurried Child, or The Rush Child. I forget what it was, but that was, coming into our generation, our children, and now our children's children have so many more activities that they're doing. Plus the parents are working, plus, they're eating in the car on the way to. So we've got to slow down. We really got to slow down. And so what are some of the effects? What happens when we ignore the lymphatic system? We continue to stay inflamed. What are some of the causes, or what are the connections that disease could look like just because we ignored our lymphatic system, or
Right.
that it caused it? What could happen after that?
That's a great question. So, we're all really, most of us, that are out there listening to this, we're in the state of either we've already have our diagnosis, of some type of disease, whether it's autoimmune or chronic. But the rest of us that don't have a diagnosis, we're building disease. And so look at the symptoms that you have. So, typically when you have a congested lymphatic system to a significant degree, you start having like the postnasal drip, you have allergies. Like, how many kids do you hear about, and adults too, having allergies and sensitivities to foods and to their environment? And, if you have tenderness and soreness anywhere where you press on your skin, that's signs of congested lymphatic system. Skin issues, acne, swollen lymph nodes in your neck, that's definitely a sign. Underneath your arms, you always want to check that. But just pain and inflammation anywhere in the body is a factor of the lymphatic system being congested. Psoriasis, eczema, acne, all of those, ear issues. You name it. It's all of these things that people are, rushing to the doctor for, younger and younger. And it's because of our lifestyle. That lifestyle is creating this congestion in our body, and it's really affecting our immune system. So again, getting back to the root cause, you always have to go down that bunny trail and find the root cause. And so your symptoms are never the problem. Your symptoms are, because of the issue. And so if you just stop at the symptom, like if you just take a Tylenol for your headache or your fever, or you're not finding out what caused the headache. Am I dehydrated? Well, if you don't fix the cause, you're going to be dehydrated. What does dehydration cause? More inflammation in the body. I had a patient yesterday, and she's on just a ton of medications, and the doctor took out her thyroid and her parathyroid gland, and knowing that when you don't have a parathyroid gland, it's very difficult for your body to uptake calcium into the bones, so you develop osteoporosis, osteopenia. So not only did you have an autoimmune thyroid issue, now you have osteoporosis, and it just continues to go. And so to remedy that, he gives her, she's taking 20 Tums a day. I mean,
Tums with
Tums.
aluminum?
Yes. So now not only is she going to, have an issue, and she's not going to, I said, that's not going to help you absorb the calcium in the Tums into the bone. Number one, it's a calcium that is not absorbable. It's not good for you. But now you're going to develop a neurological disease more than likely because of the aluminum base. I mean, it's just insane. But you don't know what you don't know. She didn't know that. She was just following, the guidance. But that's why it's so important for us to become our own medical detective, to really question everything, that we are told when it comes to our health, in our body. Like you said, it's the temple. Our body is the temple, and this should be the most sacred thing to us. And, we should really care more about what we put in our body than what we put in our homes or in our car, or,
and that's the thing, people will read the owner's manual from cover to cover, make sure that they're taking care of this inanimate object like they're supposed to do it, but then they look at their own body. We do have an owner's manual. It's called the Bible, and we look at our body as like disposable,
Right.
So I'll just cut it off if it goes bad. And speaking of cutting it off, a lot of people have their lymphatic organs removed. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to get a lot of tonsillitis, and eventually at 19, I had my tonsils removed. That's what the doctor recommended, but my glands would get really, really swollen, and that's how I knew there was an infection. Well, many years going forward, meeting you and meeting wonderful doctors in the classroom, I learned that was what the lymphatic system was supposed to do. It was, fighting the infection for me. But what happens to all these people that get cancer or get some form of a disease, and the doctor says, we need to cut out 72 lymph nodes, and we got to, under your arm, you get cancer, we're going to cut out. What is your advice to somebody that is told they need to remove their lymphatic nodes, their lymph nodes?
Get second and third opinions for sure.
Come talk to you. Go to Rightway Health and Wellness.
Come talk to me, because it is, it used to be, because we knew so little about the lymphatic system. But what we did know is that a lot of times when you sent a tissue sample out to pathology, that there would actually be cancer cells in the lymph node, but we didn't know what the lymph node was doing. And so for a period of time, especially back in the 80s and 90s, we did radical lymph node removal. And so we would, you have about 27 or 30 axillary lymph nodes. Those are your regional lymph nodes, which means that everything's draining there before it empties into the circulatory system. So if your doctor removed 10 or more, you developed a new disease, and it's called lymphedema, and your extremity would swell and it would become very fibrotic. So that's the stages of, turning from a water state to a butter to a cottage cheese to rock, basically fibrotic, very painful. And again, once they started realizing that, oh, wait a minute, these little lymph nodes are centers where your white blood cells gather to attack the pathogen coming through there, they stopped doing such radical dissection, of the lymph nodes, but they still do a lot. I had a case just this morning. I was answering another practitioner. Their patient had their cervical lymph nodes removed, and so they have no access of draining, the central nervous system, which now we just recently discovered that you do have lymphs in the central nervous system. For years we taught that you did not. So you do have lymphs, and that is a critical part of people developing neurological disorders. If the lymph in the body gets congealed and the lymph around the brain gets congealed, what do you think that causes? It causes the same thing it does in the body. It causes that hardness, that plaquing that so many people are dealing with, that's leading to dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. And so it is critical. And it's really interesting to me that just, by the grace of God, that when we started doing assisted lymphatic therapy on patients, we actually did the whole body. And I would even teach that there's no lymph in the central nervous system, but we're going to do it anyway, because you have the, occipital lymph nodes back here, but we didn't really think there was any way of really draining the brain. But I knew that with patients with brain tumors that had swelling on the brain, that they would actually, when we would sweep it down to the occipital lymph nodes or to the parotid or cervical lymph nodes, the fluid would come off the brain. Well, I didn't know I can explain it, but I saw it in clinical practice, and it's just such a neat thing. And then I was so excited when, that research came out about the lymphatic system. So,
Wow. It's so many things we don't know.
Right.
And the moment we have anything removed, we become medicalized. Anytime we have anything burnt or removed or whatever it is that zapped, we become medicalized, and it's criminal. It becomes criminal if the doctor, if that's their first line of defense, to just remove it or cut it off or whatever. The problem is still there. The cause of the problem is still there. And so, you talked about exercising, eating well, meditation. There's so many things that when it comes to the lymphatic system, it sounds like that it's very easy and cheap to take care of. But the moment you get medicalized and it's removed, then that's going to create like a whole new set of, because if you don't have that drainage factor in your body, and I've seen this woman and it was so horrific. Her arm, because she had all her lymph nodes were removed from her arm. Her arm was like 3 or 4 or 5 times bigger, and she was a small woman. Right. And so, like half her body was like another woman. And so the other half was normal because there was still having the lymph, and she was a small person too. But we don't know what we don't know, and it's time to learn and grow. And that's why people need to go to whenyouneedafriend.com. Go check out whenyouneedafriend.com. Please subscribe while you're there. Please check out my social media. Like and follow me, share all this information, because you just never know when someone's about to make a drastic decision, a final decision, without maybe trying different things. I love hearing what Dr. Jen was saying about, we were doing the head even though we didn't think it was important, but it was causing some benefits. Now that's called anecdotal, and sometimes these anecdotal evidence is much better than anything that's a paid study, because the people who paid for it sometimes skew it to look what they're selling or whatever it is. So it just frustrates me. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what we do here in the classroom. Please check out my sponsors. Dr. Jennifer Gramith is a sponsor, the pharmacy as well. They are supporting the classroom. Please support them the way they're supporting the classroom. And I know a lot of you call me up and go, "Oh, I'm on Dr. Jen's gut cleanse. I love it. I'm doing the Zyto with her tomorrow." Thank you so much for letting me know how much you love Dr. Jen, and we just love her in the classroom as well. You can go to the Shop Now bag and check out all the merchandise there that is Lilly approved. These are all natural products from head to toe. that will help even with pain management without taking a pill. Because you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. Not that I'm against the pill, I am for taking ownership for your life. Finally, you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. So whether you can donate $1 or $1,000 a month, whatever you can donate, your time, your talent, your treasure, it is so greatly appreciated. And so today we have Dr. Jennifer Gramith, who in a couple of days will be giving a talk at the I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. And I'm really excited. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, get it now. Get it now. And by the way, the first person who can make it to the event that wants to text me at 407-373-5959 will get a free pass to come in. Heck, I'll give you 2. If you bring a friend, I'll give you 2. But you got to only text me if you can come physically. This is not a virtual conference or a summit. This is a physical where you come in and we get to hug each other and we get to breathe on each other and say, you know what? I welcome your breath, because it is not, my health is optimal. And when your health is optimal, you're not worried about having to wear a mask and having to shy away from people. And the benefits of a hug are so beneficial. So Dr. Jennifer Gramith, you can find her at Rightway Health and Wellness. Right behind me, you can find all her information. 407-474-2100 is the number you can call. She will see you in person, or you can call and have a virtual appointment at Rightway Health and Wellness. And they have a wonderful team of people that can help with you. You're not going to always get Dr. Jen, but you will get an incredible team. And if you go to Dr. Jen's, it's I think it's just Dr. Jennifer Gramith. I think that you have your own playlist on my YouTube channel. You can go there and you can check out all the different classes that she's done, including a class that she did with her team. And so I want you to check out her whole entire team of clinicians that are there to help you. And you can go to shoprightwayhealth.com and you can learn, you can buy whatever it is that you are interested in. And if you enter Lily20, you will get 20% off. And I believe that's for your first members, or if it's a special event that you're doing, you can get that discount, right?
Right. And then those that come to the conference this weekend are going to get extra discounts, and we're giving away gifts and programs. And so it's going to be, but you have to be there in person to get that. But they're phenomenal. So don't miss out. And I really would love to meet, as many people as I can in your audience. And I feel like, I get messages and we talk back and forth. Some we do a Zoom meeting, but some of them's just asking questions about their health. And I would just love to put a, picture or see their actual face actually. Well, I know they love you. Everybody loves you, Dr. Jen. They all want to spend like all the time with you, but I know that this weekend Michelle Killebrew is going to be joining us at the event as well. So I'm really excited to be able to spend some time, because the last time I saw her was when we did the Lily Rose makeover at your place. That's right. That was the last time, and I just absolutely love her. I love her accent too. It's like are they going to be there at the conference, Lily Rose? Yes. Well, yes. Well, there's going to be other Keep Me Safe Organics is going to be there, because Keep Me Safe Organics is the Lily Rose is the retail version of it, and it's an upgraded version of what Keep Me Safe Organics. So you can bring your Lily Rose if you want, or I can just pick me up some more Keep. Yes, exactly. I got to get some. So great. Awesome. Exactly. So this weekend, January 21st, if you haven't gotten your ticket, you're going to miss the biggest thing that's going to happen in Brevard County this weekend. It's about choosing health. Everything we do makes us choose health or make us choose sickness. And so with that in mind, Dr. Jen, we are about the solution. And I know you're going to be a speaker at the event, and you're a sponsor, and thank you for your sponsorship as well.
What are you going to be talking about, and what should people expect to learn from this talk?
So the talk is going to be about finding your solution through the lymphatic system. So it's the lymph solution. And I think you were coming up with that title because that was your genius. And so you're really going to learn a lot about your lymphatic system and the connection with all of these symptoms or disease processes, and more importantly than just getting the knowledge and understanding how that system works in detail, you're going to get the tools that you need to find the solution to those issues that you're really struggling with. And so we're going to put it all together, and you're going to see how it comes together, and you're going to have a deeper understanding of the biological processes that's going on inside your body and what to do, and again, just how to become your own medical detective, because that is my passion, is to give these tools to you. So that you can take them and not only help yourself, but help your family, help your community, and let's change the dynamic of the world and the way that it's going, because it's just leading us down that destructive road, to disease, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. So you mentioned the ways that you can help the lymphatic system move, which is rebounding and exercise and meditation and all of that. But what are some other techniques that we can embrace that will help the process even more?
Right. So there are therapeutic tools that we'll talk about. We'll actually have it at the conference. We're going to give demonstrations of that. So it's going to be great.
I will volunteer.
Yes, you'll be the first one in line. But and so years ago, because of the need that I had with a lot of my clients, because as you know, oncology is my specialty, immunology. I needed something that would impact the person's or decongest the person's lymphatic system that was at that fibrotic state, that was, really thick and congealed, that was beyond just doing exercises or rebounding, to really impact and direct their immune system to fight the cancer, to fight the chronic disease. And so I had developed, it's been about 20 years now, the XP2 lymphatic drainage machine. That's an inert gas ionization machine that is a therapy, and there's practitioners all over the world that do this therapy. There is over 1,000 here in the United States. So,
and you've trained most of them, or all of them, right?
Yeah, or my assistant now, Lauren, is the master trainer now. So yeah, it's just been an amazing thing. And it's just it's so rewarding to get testimonies from people of how much it changed their life, and how, they really struggled, and they went from physician to physician to physician, and they couldn't get help, and nobody understood. And we're, we have this environment of a world of specialists. And so a specialist is going to view you through their scope, their practice scope. And so let's say, for instance, you have a gastrointestinal issue and you don't know what's causing that. And so you go to a gastrointestinal doctor, and they say, well, you have an ulcer. Well, you don't know, but we don't know why you have an ulcer. You just have an ulcer. And so they don't tie in that maybe this person has a lot of stress. Maybe she's struggling with a divorce or a relationship breakup. And so they just give her, medications for the ulcer in the stomach, but they don't they don't address the root cause. And you're seeing that over and over again. I think I shared my sister's experience, before on the show, and you had one specialist telling her this and trying to medicate her this way. You had another specialist that would counter that what they were trying to, do. And it was a disastrous. And had I not been there to kind of help her navigate through that, it would have been disastrous for her and maybe even life-threatening. And so, yeah, the more you understand how your body works, the better you can communicate with your doctors, who in their heart's heart are really trying to help you, but they're trained to treat your symptoms, because we're a symptom society. We want the instant fix, and it's our fault, really, because we don't want to have that pain. We don't want to deal with that headache right now. So let's just take something, get over the symptom and move on. But the problem is you just never go back to figure out what was the problem. So
well,
yeah.
and as I'm hearing you speak about the lymphatic system, all these questions are flooding in my brain right now. And one of them is, sometimes, like when we talked about mold, when there are certain things that you must do before you start trying to get rid of it. There are certain things that you need to clean your system up, maybe eat differently before you start detoxification. Is that true for the lymphatic system? Before you detoxify the lymphatic system, is that a proper terminology, detoxification of the lymphatic system?
Well, your lymphatic system is the detoxification
That's
system.
a detoxification.
Right. So not necessarily. So the lymphatic system is the system you want to address before you do an antimicrobial or before you start trying to pull metals out. And the reason why is because of the congestion of your lymphatic system is why those toxins accumulated, not only in the adipose tissues where your body will store it first, but then it accumulates in the organs, glands, and systems. So think about it like this. If those metals, those microbes have to go out and be put into the lymphatic system to be excreted out of the body, if the lymphatic system is congested, how are you going to get that from the start point to the exiting point? You have to clear the congestion of the lymphatic system. That will cut down on the severe Herxheimer reaction that so many people experience when they start detoxification. So it is the missing link. It's the key to detoxification. But then again, the side benefit is not only are you able to detox those toxins out, but now your body is just absorbing those nutrients that's in that fluid, bathing every cell in the body. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
I love the lymphatic system.
Now, is there anything supplement wise that you can take to kind of clear the lymphatic system?
Yeah, there's lots of things. And so a really good, healthy plant-based diet is very beneficial for the lymphatic system. Ginger is known to help break up the congestion in the lymph. Butcher's broom, zinc. There's different nutrients that are critical nutrients for the lymphatic system that actually help with decongestion. There's homeopathics that really can benefit. So yeah, there's lots of things. When you have a mild case of congested lymphatic system that you can use that will clear it up very quickly, even in the moderate range congestion, there's things that you can do yourself at home, like I said, rebounding and dry brushing and things like that. The really severe lymphatic, and that's when you already have that disease diagnosis, really takes something like the XP2 to dissolve the deeper lymphatics. 70% of your lymphs are right underneath your skin, but the other 30% are in the gut, and that's where the majority of your immune system is. And so to really get into that deeper and to direct your immune system to where it needs to go in the body, you use that kind of tool like the XP2, the lymphatic drainage.
The first time I did it, the smell, was that a symptom, how my body was congested, that even I could smell it. Is that normal?
So yeah, so it is, the more that you can smell it, the more toxic you may be. So that's the issue. that is the reaction of the inert gases. And when it, the transmission head hits the skin, it causes a dissociation of protein. And so it does emit a little bit of ozone. That's why it's very antimicrobial. The therapy in itself emits ozone into that superficial lymphatic system and helps for the die-off. So the more congestion there is, the more penetration of, there's going to be, and the more release of ozone that you're going to smell, trying to, your body's trying to kill off the.
So this was a while ago, and Robert was going through, he was getting the treatments. He did lots of treatments as well.
Awesome.
And he would come and he would, like, his skin was smooth. I could always tell he just looked so healthy.
Glowing.
And then I would come back going, oh my God, the smell. But then I need to go back now after the mold detox experience and everything. I'm wondering if I would even smell it.
Yeah, you may not. Yeah, most definitely. And then people with a lot of metals in their body, a lot of times will start to taste the metals.
Wow. As
your body starts to excrete those. So that's a common, thing to do. And we'll typically, if they start to taste that, we'll have them do a binder, like an charcoal binder or something like that.
Wow. It's amazing. Our bodies are constantly telling us that something is wrong or something is good, but we are so conditioned to go for whatever feels comfortable or popular or whatever you learned in the last commercial. It's sad that we have ignored our body and kind of disassociated ourselves with, or associated ourselves with whatever is popular and whatever they want to sell us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. That's why we got to have the knowledge. We got to learn. We got to keep learning.
And that's what this weekend is all about. The I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. I want to encourage all of you, 2 of you, just text me the first person to send me, if you want 1 ticket, or if that's all you want, or if you want 2 tickets, then just 1 person will get the 2 tickets. But I'm going to give away 2 tickets for those of you who would like to attend and take your health back. The I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit is January 21st, 2023. And we're going to learn how to take our health back with Dr. Jennifer Gramith. She's going to be one of our speakers. We have Dr. Thomas Levy. And last week, and Susan Whitaker, we did a class together. That was so fun to get everybody together. And then we have Anna Maria and Brian Clement of Hippocrates Health and Wellness. We're excited for all of us to come together. Like Susan, I think it was Susan that said, we're going to cast the net, a large net, and bring everybody in so that we can feel that we're taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com. There's a pop-up. You can click on it. Tomorrow is the last day that you can purchase a ticket. I don't think that people are going to be walking up and trying to purchase tickets on the day of, but we won't have VIP tickets at that point. We will have just regular admission if you do show up, and you just cannot make a decision until that morning. But we're going to be there. The door opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sign up, get to visit the vendors, and also get your seat. If you're in a VIP, you're in the front area, and you will also get lunch. And we're going to have these cute little bags that I showed, that's organic cotton, cute bags that say, I am the solution, period. And so that was, I'm just excited that we're all going to be able to meet one another. What's your most exciting, what is your, that you're anticipating the most for the weekend?
Me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I just the being in a group with like-minded people is so encouraging. Sometimes we just need that little added, push. And I think community is something we've lost in the last few years that we are all just really seeking. So it's just going to be a blessing for me to be able to spend some time and to, serve others, for a day. Yeah, I can't wait.
I know, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting my hug as well. And so please remember, just know that the lymphatic system is great and it could be good, but it could also damage and be part of why you're sick. And Dr. Jennifer Gramith is going to help us all learn about it this weekend. And I hope that you will join us. And please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Dr. Jennifer Gramith wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Good job. Good job.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking